Santhil Kumar had made the blatantly derogatory jibe of Gaumutra states on all North Indian states where BJP is winning. This is the same party whose leader Udyanidhi had called for the eradication of Sanatan Dharma. Isn't this arrogance or divisive or both? The same politics that the Prime Minister was highlighting. Are no lessons being learned from political debacle after debacle? DMK may not have much to lose, but parties like the Congress, RJD, JDU, Samajwadi Party and others certainly do if they accept such comments. Is arrogance really the crux of it? And is arrogance sinking the opposition? We'll take that question to our guest in just a bit. But let me break down why some of these stances being taken by the opposition parties are problematic. So let me first break down the stance that can be termed as divisive, things that have seemingly backfired on the larger opposition bloc. So the number one is attack on Sanatan Dharma. That was the main dominant discourse or debate before these state elections. DMK minister's statement went almost unopposed by the Congress. Any such statement, mind you, against any other faith would have been condemned. In fact, entire Indian democracy would have come into question. But Congress and opposition were quiet on this. Secondly, a divisive agenda of caste census demand. Now, Rahul Gandhi asserting that caste census is a matter of ensuring justice and stating that conducting these surveys was the need of the hour. But it didn't really win hearts as far as these results go. But it reignited or seemingly wanted to reignite caste lines as a way to divide especially the Hindu community and the Hindu vote. But it is being seen above politics a dangerous way of instigating caste wars and agitations in the country. North-South demarcation. On the back foot after losing these three states, Congress leaders were amongst the first ones to raise this whole North-South divide debate, to find solace in the fact that somehow a progressive South state is voting for them, but regressive North is voting for the BJP, dividing the country into two parts, which is then used, mind you, by propagandists to further their separatist agendas. And they've always been these agendas with an undertone or undercurrent in this North-South debate or Hindi versus non-Hindi speaking state debates. Take a look at some of their more arrogant stands that seem to have hurt them. First is EVM. Every season this happens. Despite winning a couple of states now in Karnataka and now in Telangana, Congress leaders were once again seen blaming EVMs, even though they won one state in this cycle. They said that Congress got 21% higher vote share in postal ballots, questioning the 9% less votes than BJP in EVMs. And senior Congress leader Digvijay Singh, as I said, went on to say that any machine with a chip can be hacked, even though there have been hackathons conducted and scientifically it's been shown by the Election Commission that they cannot be reprogrammed once sent to the centers. Mocking North Indians. This is, of course, an offshoot of the entire North versus South divide. Political pattern aside, Congress leaders and associated commenters were the first to drum up this angle, and they were basically deriding the Hindi heartland versus a win in Telangana. They furthered the progressive South versus communal bigoted North agenda online. Instead of looking within, they're deriding voters for not choosing them by calling them illiterates and bigoted. Another one of their arrogant stance was the Panoti, Papi, Rakshas barbs that were thrown in not just to the Prime Minister but also against the BJP. Remember, the Prime Minister was mocked as Panoti by a lot of the opposition leaders because he went to attend the final between India and Australia in Ahmedabad. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee had spoken in a similar vein, calling BJP leaders sinners, papis. Congress leader Randeep Surjewala, way back in August, had called BJP and those who vote for the BJP as Rakshas. It's the same mindset that is reflected via various comments. So the big question we're asking today is this: fundamentally at the root of the same narratives coming back of using agendas that may be called divisive or pessimistic, is this really about arrogance? And is it really arrogance of not changing your politics, not adjusting your politics, and also looking down upon the voters that are not voting for you, that is sinking the opposition?
कि जिस मशीन में चिप लगी है वो हैक होने की संभावना उसमें रहती है।
एक चुनाव आप बैलेट पेपर पर लीजिए ना, एक चुनाव से, और लोगों के मन में जो शंका है दूर कर लीजिए।
जब हार जाते हैं तो ईवीएम पर ठिकरा फोड़ते हैं। अरे भाई, जनता ने नकार दिया, उसे स्वीकारो, लोकतंत्र है।
Hello, Moto.
Let's take this to our guest joining us. Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. Bhavya Narayan Murthy is Narsimha Murthy is the spokesperson of the Congress Party. Mohammad Tariq Khan from the Samajwadi Party, also Rajat Sethi, political analyst, leans towards the BJP, also joining us. Bhavya, let me begin with you. Just yesterday, you and I were discussing about this North-South divide. But look at what's happened just a few hours ago. DMK MP Senthil Kumar has called North India states as Gaumutra states. Does the Congress Party stand for such comments?
Of course not. We would never stand. We would never generalize, a large population and use such regressive words. But then there is some other incident that has recently happened which you really need to concentrate on. In Rajasthan, there was an MLA who comes out and gives a very regressive statement. You might have seen these videos where he is on a call asking people to shut down some of these butcher shops. Don't you think it's a very regressive act? As soon as he becomes an MLA, he's stooping down to a very low level. Maybe he might be addressing to such incidents, but as a Congress party, we would never call, the whole of North India to be regressive or with any such words.
No, you say that, but for 2 days, Bhavya, we've seen even leaders of the Congress party, those associated with the Congress party like Praveen Chakravarti, were the first ones to drum up this divide, this whole South versus North divide, which was latched on to commentators linked to your ecosystem, if I may use that term. And then they went on to say further things. They didn't just stop at that. They didn't just read political patterns to say, oh, the Congress is winning southern states, the BJP is strong in northern states. Nothing wrong in that, mind you. That's fine. You can read those political patterns, but to suggest that low level of literacy, low level of female literacy, low level of female participation, these are the states that vote for BJP. I mean, till 5 years ago, you also won in these same states.
That's exactly. Anytime an election debate comes up, of course, social parameters also come up. If the low literacy is there, it's not something we have cooked up. It's a fact that they are stating.
No, but you were in power in these states. In Rajasthan, one second, Bhavya, I'm shocked you're saying this. If in Rajasthan, low literacy levels have led to the BJP being elected, how did you come to power in Rajasthan 5 years ago? So have literacy levels gone down in your reign then?
We majorly spoke about Madhya Pradesh, where you already know about the
who is we here? Who's we here? How can you demarcate Madhya Pradesh from Chhattisgarh and Chhattisgarh from Rajasthan?
The social parameters will speak for itself. Of course, there are social parameters in Rajasthan which were low, but it all depends on how a government responds
What
to this.
about the parameters of crimes against women in Rajasthan? Rajasthan is leading the list of rapes of women. Are those not social parameters that governments are voted on?
I'm not denying the fact. But then, how a government responds to such things is what makes the difference. Between, rapes happen in the whole of India, sadly, whether it is in a Congress-ruled state or in a BJP-ruled state. But how does the government respond to this?
To check your data and come back. No, you cannot say all this.
Your government was
Shivani,
Sharu, one second. Your government was voted out in Rajasthan. So which of those parameters were led to it? Let me understand, if you're saying social parameters come into this, which social parameters led to your government being voted out? Please tell me.
Okay, the social parameters might be one of the factors is what I have told you. But
which is what?
Can be the only thing. Which cannot be the only factor to lead to these, we might have strategized less or we might have, not really campaigned well. We will look into what our mistakes are.
But you are saying that it's okay to look into social parameters about how less educated people vote for BJP and more educated people vote for Congress. That is your official stance?
Did I even mention that?
You
No.
said social parameters matter. So which social parameters?
Say there is, we started this South India, North India divide. It sounds really wrong.
Who started
Yes,
this?
there-
Of course it sounds wrong. That's
Yeah,
why
in the
I'm
sense-
questioning it. But who started it?
In the sense of, one second, in sense of social parameters, in the sense of population, in the sense of, okay, if there is a, say for example, flood in South India or North India, we usually say, no, in North India there is a flood, which has affected a lot of states. Or in North India there was like drought, which has affected a lot of, the same way we have said in South India, of course, the whole BJP was thrown out. In the assembly elections, they are not even an alliance partner in any of the states.
Like
Here.
I said, political patterns or what is happening in any region of the country is acceptable. I myself said that is not the problem here. The problem is the qualitative markers being put on the populations who are voting in a certain way. And I don't know, I think you're trying to backtrack now, because all of us heard you saying that social parameters also come into the discussion and are given weightage here. So I'm once again trying to understand from you. I'm once again, okay, Bhavya, clear question, you give me a clear answer. Are you saying those who are less educated vote for the BJP, those who are more educated vote for the Congress party? Is that what you're saying?
Why are you putting words into my mouth?
I'm asking you can say no.
Mention this statement.
I'm asking you because this is what Congress-linked commentators are saying.
Sorry?
This is what Congress-linked commentators are saying. So I'm asking you, do you stand for this or no?
Did any of the official Congress spokespersons or any of the official Congress office bearers make these statements?
I'm
Please
asking you,
don't-
do you stand for this or not? Say yes or no.
Why should I say yes or no when you're just you're just putting some baseless allegations?
I'm giving you an opportunity to put your party stand.
Mention a name of one Congress
Yes,
office bearer.
I'll run Praveen Chakravarti, associated with the Congress party. First one to say the divide between North and South is becoming clearer. Didn't say North and South, said South versus North.
South versus North, but did he mention about education of the people?
What
Did
does
he
South
mention-
versus North mean? Why versus?
I thought you conclude something out of that statement.
So what does it mean? What does South versus North mean?
In return, show me one quote of any Congress office bearer or any elected Congress representative making a statement like education.
I just told you, I just asked you, what does South versus North mean? Is this not divisive for a Congress leader to pit one region versus another? Secondly, I quoted your alliance partner DMK MP's statement on the floor of the parliament calling North Indian states Gaumutra states. Same party that said a Sanatan Dharma needs to be eradicated. If I ask you a question, you will say I'm putting words into your mouth.
No, I just asked you one. You just asked me yes or no to this question. So all I'm asking is, show me one Congress person who has said this. You have no answer to this.
So
but you are saying
I'm asking you, do you stand for this or not? What is your difficulty in saying no?
is saying this. Of course, no. We would
Okay.
never say something like that.
Okay,
When India
but
got independence,
Charu
we just
Pragya,
said-
what does North versus South mean? If a Congress leader is on Twitter or on X now deleted tweet which says North versus South or South versus North, am I not to take that as a divisive pitch, which is what the Prime Minister is saying? That there is an attempt to divide North India versus South India, instigate people. On top of that, you've got commentators coming out and saying, oh, look, the idiots, bigoted, illiterates vote for the BJP in North. The highly educated, more advanced, richer people vote for the Congress party. Then DMK comes out and says, Gaumutra states, the BJP only wins there, will not win anywhere else. Charu Pragya.
Shivani, this is not the first time that the Congress has tried to divide India into North and South. And if you'll remember, during the campaign for 2019 Lok Sabha elections, Rahul Gandhi said something similar. He talked about the difference in campaigning between Uttar Pradesh and Kerala, and he was very, very derogatory. He in fact insinuated that people in Kerala down south are better than the people in Uttar Pradesh, though it is the people of Uttar Pradesh who carried that family on their shoulders for generations. positions, made them prime ministers, and that is how Rahul Gandhi repaid them. This north-south divide, or any kind of a divide for that matter, comes naturally to Congress. And DMK mein, Stalin Jr. learnt his lesson. He offered an apology of sorts yesterday, and he said he didn't mean to demean Sanatan, though he did that. He said it dozens of times, and he retaliated again and again and said that I'm not going to take my statement back. But yesterday, he did feel kind of sorry after seeing the election results from all of the 5 states.
But look at what the DMK is saying
I
today.
don't think the
DMK
message
MP
reached Senthil
in
Kumar.
Parliament.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So Senthil Kumar actually passed a racist slur. He again put down the people of India. Now, does this so-called alliance thing, and I'm calling it so-called alliance because they have not shown any tendencies of an alliance till now, does this so-called alliance think that they are going to get any further in this country by putting down 80% of the people of this country repeatedly?
I want
and
to
now
ask.
my colleague from the Congress party here is trying to pretend this didn't happen. Let me give you some data, madam. In Mizoram, where you have lost from 4 seats, come down to 1 seat, and BJP has doubled its tally. The constituencies where BJP won are 98% Christian and 93% literate. So that proves you wrong. So it doesn't matter what religion the voters come from. Lastly, Shivani, and I want to say this with a lot of humility. Politicians go out into the public with folded hands and heads bowed asking for votes. You don't turn around after an election and put the people of this country down. You don't put them down for not choosing you.
Okay.
You should at least find some humility in defeat. But even in defeat, your arrogance knows no bounds. I shudder to imagine what's going to happen to my country
Bhavya,
if by
30 seconds.
mistake they win something.
I would like to respond to her Mizoram comment. I understand they might have won in like 4 seats. It's only due to those individuals, whoever has stood elections. They're not for the BJP, because such a small state, was successful.
Okay, one minute. You are not even understanding of the fact that you continue to divide my country. You're not understanding of the fact that a racist slur like Gomutra states deserves an apology from all the so-called alliance members.
Okay.
You're still being defensive and arrogant, Bhavya.
No, one
You're
by one.
still
One by
being so
one.
defensive
One second,
and arrogant.
because you are joining us on multiple
Didn't the people
platforms
of India
video.
answer you enough?
I cannot have you both speaking at the same time because one of your voices is then not clear. Let me go over to Mohammad Tariq Khan of the Samajwadi Party joining us. Tariq Khan, are you comfortable with the kind of statements that the DMK MP has now made? Earlier there was comments about eradicating Sanatan Dharm. Now Senthil Kumar is saying that these are Gomutra states that vote for the BJP and they will not win anywhere else. I mean, you also come from North Indian states. What do you make of these comments?
All type of religion. We believe in uniformity of the religion, and we don't believe any type of divide within the country. We believe that we should bring uniformity across from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. Everyone is common, everyone is the people of the country, and they all have their own responsibility. Now what Prime Minister said few days back, he said that contribution of South India is more in controlling population of the country. People who support BJP will not see all these things. What PM said in his campaign in Telangana, he said, and what we can get from his speech is that North India is responsible for increasing the population of India. Is this fair? Is this fair? When PM reaches South India or Telangana or some state in South where election is going on, he said that in delimitation, we will increase the number of seats of South India. So the difference between a number of seats in North India and South India will be on a common platform. It's not a type of a statement to impress the people of South India to vote for BJP. Is this the way Prime Minister should act? So this comment should also be understood by the media, but no media is giving any type of importance.
No, but it's not
to these
derogatory.
type of comments made by Prime Minister.
Tariq Khan, I'm not understanding why you're equating these two, because one is a derogatory statement, another is a statement that may recognize the realities of a region and appreciate it or talk about how we need to change them. That's a separate matter. But calling
No,
the
no,
state,
no,
one second, Tariq Khan, listen to me. My question to you is this: you are the alliance partner in India bloc. Akhilesh Yadav was very upset with the fact that the Congress was refusing to even share 7 seats with Samajwadi Party in Madhya Pradesh. He was almost derided by Kamal Nath. They have also come out to say that Congress is too arrogant and has too much of an ego to, take their alliance partners together. And along with that is this whole spectrum where alliance comments are beginning to hurt, maybe not those parties like the DMK themselves, but parties like the Congress and the Samajwadi Party. With what face are you going to go to voters tomorrow and say, oh no, our partners may say this and we are fighting the election together for India, but we don't believe in what they're saying. Shouldn't you do more in distancing yourself? That's my fundamental question to you.
No, I can understand what you are trying to say. My point is also what Akhilesh Yadav also believes, that there should be uniformity in whatever we are saying. That's why we urge and we requested many times Congress that we should not fight with each other in Madhya Pradesh, because just after 4 months we have to come together. Means if alliance is coming, it's not coming. It shouldn't come for a particular time. It should come for a long period of time. As well as we should have uniformity in our talks, in our beliefs towards the religion, in our beliefs towards democracy, in our beliefs towards the people of the nation. If there is a difference in our talk, what we are speaking to the people, it will not connect to the people and it will not get converted into vote.
Okay, so are you of the opinion, would you agree when the Prime Minister says that there is a lot of arrogance, because you yourself have talked about arrogance of the Congress party, that arrogance is hurting the opposition, not just the Congress? Look at the arrogance of DMK leaders. Again and again they are making these derogatory comments knowing that their alliance partners will be hurt by this. What is this if not arrogance?
No, there are 3 types of Congress. One is like a spokesperson who sit with us. They are very decent. Okay, and the state people who are head of the state, they themselves are very arrogant. I must say this. And the center, the coordination between center and state unit of the Congress party is not so good. This is the problem Congress is facing right now, because the behavior of state head of Madhya Pradesh was also not good with Akhilesh ji, as well as state head of Uttar Pradesh. He said when we started our cycle rally, we all together have supposed to question BJP. He started questioning us that why you have started cycle rally, now you are talking about backward. So this type of problem exists with the Congress, and they must have to deal it with a higher ground, with very concentration. A lot of concentration.
I don't want to get into how seat sharing will happen eventually between the alliance partners. That's a topic for another day. But Rajat Sethi, coming to you, this is a pattern that is not of today's. This has happened over a period of time since Narendra Modi's rise in 2014. One, EVMs. One, looking down upon especially the Hindi heartland, Hindi speaking, Hindu population that holds, for example, missions like the Ram Temple mission close to their heart. And you could argue these are primarily North Indians, so be it. But looking down upon them, calling them illiterates, those who don't understand the true idea of India, those who don't understand what is good for India, those who don't have any sense, they are bigoted, they are Hindutvavadis, Gaumutra drinkers, Gobar eaters, I don't know what all jibes are thrown at them. This is not a pattern of today. This has been happening for 10 years. Even the dehumanization for RSS workers, attacks on them, for example, calling anyone you disagree with as Sanghi or troll or Bhakt. This is all symptoms of the same problem.
Right. No, Shivani, this started with some of the stalwarts of Congress party. At a time around 2013, 2014, there used to be a whole strong bench of leaders in North India of Congress. Right now, so you won't even find 2 leaders in the entire North India. When they started denigrating the RSS, started mocking them, Mani Shankar Iyer started when you couldn't control the narrative that was unleashed by the Prime Minister, who was then a contender to be the PM. He started making personal casteist remarks. They went on and on and on, and like that avalanche in their political lexicon hasn't stopped. They touch lower bases every single day. Today, you want to make an artificial North versus South, whereas Annamalai is breathing fire down the neck of these people. DMK is finding it extremely hard. They are embroiled in so many corruption cases. They don't have a legitimate ground to even go back to the public. Look at Telangana. Today also you'll see, in spite of the fact that Congress is forming government, you'll still see 8 to 10 members of parliament belonging to the BJP fighting on lotus symbol will be coming in as elected members of parliament. So all of these artificial debates which have been created is further belittling the cause of a party which was erstwhile fighting for India's unity, fighting for India's freedom. Look at the level of discourse that the same 180, 120-year-old party has brought itself down to. I pity the public harakiri that the Congress spokesperson just did. If you just translate what she has just said and take it in the Hindi heartland states, Congress would be taken to the cleaners. They'll be wiped out, not in for the entire generation. I'm telling you, they don't understand this thing. I tend to pull my hair, like, what is so wrong, fundamentally wrong, that they don't understand very, very basics of how the demeanor, public demeanor should be before when you go out and ask for votes. The sheer arrogance that they live in, that seems to be the bread and butter. Arrogance is what
pulling your hair out as a political analyst, you need to get your facts right.
One second. Rajat, I think Bhavya wants to respond to what you just said. Let us just hear her out for 30 seconds, then I'll come back to you.
I can also keep on speaking.
I'll come back to you. Rajat, I'll come back to you. Because you talked about her comment. Yes, Bhavya, I'll give you 30 seconds, but please,
As a political analyst, Rajat, instead of pulling your hair out, you should get your facts straight. Manishankar Iyer came out and even apologized and the whole Congress condemned that issue. So you cannot hold on to things like that and generalize things like that.
That is
Stop
the stand of this party. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Before commenting on us.
You should be ashamed of yourself. This is the discourse of politics that you are setting before the nation. This is the 21st century country. You want to divide into lines of North and South. You want to talk about United States of South India. Is that your vision?
One second. Can I just come in?
Shame on you, I said, madam.
Can I just come in? Bhavya, personal comments against Rajat. One second, Rajat, I'll give you time to finish your point. But Bhavya, first of all, calm down. Personal comments on who should be a BJP spokesperson or not a spokesperson, Bhavya, I don't think that's going to make your point.
Every single day.
One second. Rajat, control. One second. My point is this, Bhavya, is Rajat wrong when he talks about the fact that Manishankar Iyer publicly derided the Prime Minister as a chai wala, said कि हम बाहर आपका चाय का ठेला लगवा देंगे? Is it wrong?
No, he said niche. Shivani, he said niche.
He said niche later. Before 2014, he said chai wala.
He said it right in the din of the elections. He said it. He wanted to make a casteist remark.
Let Bhavya respond for 20 seconds. Rajat, I'll come back to you. 1 second. Yes, Bhavya, it's truth, right? It's not factually incorrect. He did say this.
Exactly. And then he was asked to apologize. The whole Congress condemned a statement like that.
So he's back in the party also.
Not made such statements so far.
You pull out of the alliance, say DMK is not a alliance partner. Then I will see you mean what you are trying to say here. Walk out of alliance of DMK. I challenge you.
Hold on to it.
Walk out of alliance of DMK. Walk out of the DMK alliance.
Whole Congress condemned it.
If you want legitimacy behind what you are trying to claim, walk out of the alliance. Kick out Sarkis Tamram.
In Congress to be biased
walk out of DMK alliance. Kick out DMK party from India alliance if you legitimately want the vote of North India. Walk out of that alliance. I double dare you. Kick out Prati Chidambaram. He also said South. That's what he said, right? So kick him out of the party if you want North Indian vote. Dare do that. Now put actions behind your words. I want to see those actions. The public wants to see. Otherwise, North India, you won't even exist. You won't even be able to enter. That's the state of affairs of Congress party. Rahul Gandhi doesn't dare to enter into Amethi. For the past 5 years, has he dared to enter? I'm asking you.
You're talking to a spokesperson for a very long time.
Okay, 1 second.
1 second. I have an alliance with the DMK party who call all of you as a go-to drinking population.
1 second. Can I just come in? Listen. It is not going to help the fact that DMK continues to make these remarks and other alliance partners, those who do their politics in North India, just say, oh, we don't agree with it. I don't know if in today's day and world the public going to buy that as a sufficient response? That's the question. That is a legitimate question to ask of the Congress party, of the Samajwadi party, of RJD, JDU and others. Let's not forget, Bhavya, that just before this election, we are talking about arrogant statements. Did Rahul Gandhi himself not further the Panoti jibe against the Prime Minister? You asked me which Congress leaders are doing it. He himself did it. My question is, do you think this helps you?
This is their मोहब्बत की दुकान, जिसमें बिकता ही सिर्फ hatred बिकता है इनकी मोहब्बत की दुकान में.
I think this was
Yeah,
my
go
question.
ahead. Respond.
When people paint such a mighty picture of Mr. Modi when India wins a World Cup and all that, but he is not blamed for any loss.
Why should he be blamed for a cricket match's loss?
Oh my God!
Dear God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable!
You've lost the plot. Bhavya, I suggest you don't speak anymore because you're harming your party by speaking right now. Bhavya, I really suggest you stop speaking. You're digging your own grave.
Media, when he called,
Bhavya, I'm not sure if the Prime Minister can be blamed for what 22 players of two teams do on a cricket field. If that is what you're saying is acceptable, then I leave that to your judgment and your party's judgment.
this question either. When you didn't ask Mr. Modi,
Can I come
when
in,
he
Shivani?
statement against a woman parliamentarian, calling her a Jersey cow, calling her a widow of Congress, you don't get any right to ask this question.
No,
either.
You can ask that question.
No,
Of course.
He never said that.
Like a street.
But
never
let's
said that.
not suggest that the Prime Minister should be blamed by us for India losing the World Cup final. We are not going to do that, whether you like it or not. Charu Pragya, very quickly, our final minutes, 30 seconds, Charu Pragya.
An analyst or a BJP spokesperson.
Thank you.
No, Bhavya, don't make personal comments about
Enough.
whether
Bhavya,
somebody is a
enough.
BJP
That's what she can
spokesperson
do.
or not. That's
She can only
irrelevant.
insult.
That is irrelevant.
She
Please
only
fight on
insult.
the
She
merit
only
of your
also
arguments.
talks
I will give you
about
as much
India.
time. Charu Pragya.
Arrogant name calling.
Thank you.
So
You know,
I think
Shivani, Bhavya would be comfortably all right if an analyst was siding with the Congress. So her idea of an analyst is someone who's only a Congress
Let's not
chatukar
get
and
into
it
this.
cannot
Let's
be
not get
anything
into
else.
this, Charu.
But because Rajat was making a list. Can I add to that list, Rajat? Can you add the name Priyank Kharge to your list? Can he also be told by the Congress party to leave the Congress party? Because it's not just the DMK. The
Priyanka Kharge
DMK
echoed
statements have been
Udayanadiri's
echoed
statements, yes.
repeatedly by Congress leaders. And because the Congress spokesperson was talking about societal norms, madam, you do realize that this country was ruled by a Congress PM for 60 years. You do realize that whether it is Bihar or Rajasthan or it is Uttar Pradesh or, Madhya Pradesh, 50 plus years, Congress people have been chief ministers. Why did you not worry about their literacy rate then, or you were too busy filling up your own pockets? We are done with people who still live on with the British legacy of dividing us, and we have replied to you in the form of votes. You think that you can continue to degrade us and put down our religion and still get blessings from this people of this country?
Tariq Khan, final
continue
question.
to dream on.
1 second.
And they are not taking their
Bhavya,
reliance.
please, I've given you more than enough time. Please don't speak over each other. Tariq Khan, are you worried that such kind of comments are going to make it harder for you to do your politics? You know, if you're going to call people of Uttar Pradesh as ki ye to, bigoted hai, ye communal hai, ये मीट नहीं खाते हैं इसलिए बीजेपी को वोट करते हैं, ये हिंदी बोलते हैं इसलिए बीजेपी को वोट करते हैं. I mean, ऐसे पॉलिटिक्स होगी तो किसका नुकसान होगा? आप ही का होगा ना?
Shivani, you can't just generalize a statement.
इस तरीके की बातें
I'm
नहीं होनी
generalizing it because people and commentators have generalized it. Bhavya, I'm sorry, you should have taken greater offense to what people are saying on Twitter than what you're taking on me. I'm generalizing because these are the generalizations people have made on social media.
BJP supporters give rape threats to women. So should I just say BJP gives rape threat to women?
Don't you say that?
When a BJP spokesperson or an officer...
Yeah, you say that all the time. You say that. You're completely wrong, but you continue to say that.
But this is
and
Tariq
you are not
Khan's
pro-women,
time.
madam.
Let
The
him
way
give
you treated
let us
women
give
in
him his time.
Rajasthan
Tariq
for the
Khan,
last 5 years. That's been atrocious.
No, it's not like that. India should not be divided on the basis of a region like South India or North India, and we have seen talks like that in everywhere. We have seen talks like that in BJP as well, from our side, from our Gathbandhan side as well. So these type of things should not be done. India should stay intact, stay united, and the divide between South and North on the basis of politics or on the basis of polarization of votes should not be there.
Okay,
It should
Rajat,
be
final 30 seconds, Rajat. It's not just about the fact that it's North versus South. You look at the whole construct of the caste census demand. A lot of these North India parties are supporting it. Bihar parties are supporting it. UP parties are supporting it. For what reason? Is that also not divisive?
See, Shivani ji, quite humbly, unsolicited advice to the Congress: stop dividing the pie in multiple different ways that you can imagine. Start thinking more positive, increasing the size of the pie, look forward, come up with some positive agenda for God's sake. Inspire the young people of this country, give them a positive agenda to vote for you. Don't go only on a divisive trajectory or only go on a freebie thing, because that is also a division of a pie. You want to ensure that there is nothing accretive to what they offer, and they will continue to suffer, and then they'll come in and blame the EVM. They won't blame their own politics, but they'll come and blame the EVM, because that's poor EVM can't even speak and defend.
Okay.
EVMs don't have a spokesperson in this country, unfortunately. So
Okay.
keep on blaming them.
Well, the Election Commission has said everything it could say on EVMs, but it is political parties that will have to reconsider whether saying such things in public domain, whether a big leader is saying it or a small leader is saying it, whether that helps them. Because we live in a world where even one comment made in one corner of the country or the world can be picked up everywhere. I leave on that note a big thanks to our guests for joining us. On the other side of a very short break, we'll get you more of how there are greater questions now mounting on world bodies, international bodies, on why they've been keeping quiet on Hamas's sexual atrocities against Israeli women. More on that in just a bit.
Hello, Moto.
Co-powered by
Welcome back. On 7th of October this year, Israel suffered one of its most brutal massacres. Some may say the atrocities that came to light by Hamas were even more barbaric than ISIS or even the Nazis themselves. Children were killed in front of their parents, people were burnt alive, but the crimes didn't end there. Hamas used rape and gender-based sexual violence as a weapon of war, including sexual mutilation. And despite several visuals coming out in the public, testimonies of extreme torture, brutality, there's been a conspicuous silence from international bodies like the UN on the matter. They've been talking more about ceasefires in Gaza than the October 7 attacks. Hamas's barbaric attack has received very little scrutiny from human rights groups, especially women's groups, amidst the larger war. Until a few days ago, they had not even been specifically raised or condemned by UN Women, the United Nations Women's Rights Agency, which has quite often spoken about the plight of Palestinian women and girls. Apart from condemning the violence by Hamas, the US State Department has put a spotlight on why the ceasefire extension talks failed. A big reason they're giving is because of Hamas's refusal in freeing more women hostages that they have. So this is what the US State Department spokesperson has said, that Hamas refused to release more women and children hostages from the ones they have already agreed to release because of that pause, humanitarian pause and ceasefire. And they believe this is because Hamas doesn't want these women to be able to speak publicly about what happened to them during their custody. He went on to say that Hamas actually broke the deal. The deal was specifically that women and children will be prioritized to be released from hostage. But the Hamas group came up with excuses that weren't really credible. The US State Department is suggesting that they are refusing to accept that there are more women in their custody when the US and the Israeli agencies believe otherwise. Listen in very quickly to what he said.
One of the reasons they don't want to turn women over that they've been holding hostage, and the reason this pause fell apart, is they don't want those women to be able to talk about what happened to them during their time in custody. Certainly, there is very little that I would put beyond Hamas when it comes to its treatment of civilians and particularly its treatment of women.
Now, the UN Women body released a statement condemning these sexual violence only late last week. Even that statement began by saying, and I quote, "We deeply regret that military operations have resumed in Gaza, and we reiterate that all women, Israeli and Palestinian women, are entitled to a life lived in safety and free from violence." So instead of pinning down Hamas, they created equivalence between the assault on Israeli women versus Palestinian women, even though no Palestinian accounts have come to light of any sexual violence since this war began. It then went on to say that we unequivocally condemn the brutal attacks by Hamas on October 7. We are alarmed by the numerous accounts of gender-based atrocities and sexual violence. Note the word accounts here, which suggests that they cannot be taken at face value just yet. And in fact, the next line reaffirms that. The UN Women's statement said, "This is why we have called for all accounts of gender-based violence to be duly investigated and prosecuted with the rights of the victim at the court." 2 months after the attack, and this is all the UN Women could say, that too after much pressure. A day after their statement, on Monday, some 800 people, including women's activists and diplomats representing 40 countries, crowded into a chamber at UN headquarters in New York for a presentation laying out the evidence of large-scale sexual violence with testimony from witnesses. Sheryl Sandberg, the former Meta executive, said at this meeting, "Silence is complicity." Same day, a large protest outside the United Nations headquarters was held, highlighting the sex assaults of women on October 7. There has been a lot of anger against the UN body for not doing enough to raise the abhorrent sexual violence against Israeli women. Could this be because of politics? Because if there was this much evidence, video evidence in public domain on any other case, I wonder if these international bodies would have kept quiet for so long or would have spoken in these terms. And that's the question I'm asking. Is the world deliberately silent on sexual atrocities committed by Hamas? Joining me now, Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow of the ORF. I also have with me Major Jay Goldstein, who's one of the IDF spokesperson. Let me begin with you, Major Faye. There's been a lot of questions raised on international bodies and human rights groups, especially women groups, about alleged silence or the failure to raise the amount of sexual violence and brutalities we witnessed on October 7. But why do you think that is the case? Why do you think global bodies are failing to raise this appropriately?
As a woman, particularly, that issue and the silence of these bodies is a personal affront. We ask the same question: why are these bodies and these communities and these institutions that are sworn to uphold the rights of the women silent about not the alleged, the proven, and the very, very intentional assaults of Hamas militants against Israeli women? I return that question to them. Why, if this is your mission and this is your goal and this is what you as an organization are upholding and intending to uphold, why are you silent on this? What makes Israeli women different than any other woman that you have sworn to protect and to secure and to fight for their rights?
Do you believe that this is purely political, that it is politically inconvenient or politically not correct to raise these crimes because there are political angles involved, and that is why this is taking place, even by global bodies that are sworn to protect women's rights?
What has transpired on October 7th was an assault and an attack and a massacre of Israeli men, women, and children. And I think the world at large has ignored that and has chosen to not take a stand with the truth and with what has been going on. They're choosing to ignore what happened on October 7th and what transpired afterwards, the continued attacks of Hamas against Israeli civilians by rockets, as well as the attacks that are happening on other borders. I think it's a big question, and it's something that we are dealing with as the IDF is defending the people of Israel, but also what Israelis are trying to do themselves, which is tell their stories and tell the truth of what really has been going on here.
No, you said these are proven attacks, yet the UN Women releases a statement, that says we welcome inquiries and investigations. Despite a lot of visual evidence available, some shot by Hamas itself, and you've presented it to independent journalists. They have given their personal accounts of what they have seen being done to Israeli women and children. Why do you think these bodies are not taking it as proven accounts?
I think there is a general desire for the world to not listen to Israeli sources, to not listen to Jewish sources, to ignore the words and to ignore, again, the GoPros that Hamas terrorists themselves wore as they filmed this. There is only so much proof, which is the actual physical proof of the assault, that we can bring. We have been showing that in close quarters. We've been showing that to journalists. The world has seen it. That those that have seen these assaults take place have also testified against it and testified what they have seen. And we are just here to continue to tell the world exactly what has happened on October 7th and to continue to fight to defend the people and the survivors.
So, Shansarin, I want to come to you. This whole episode has put into question a lot of women rights movements and bodies, because so far we were told, believe women survivors, don't question their accounts. But here we've seen a lot of politicians also kind of putting into question the accounts of Israeli women. And some have even gone on to completely deny that any sexual crimes took place on October 7th. It's kind of denting the very women's rights movement and mission.
That's correct, Shivani. And the travesty of this entire debate is that bulk of the footage which has been released, and I'm not talking about the aftermath of the carnage which Hamas carried out. Bulk of the footage is what Hamas guys themselves were shooting and very proudly relaying to the rest of the world. Bulk of the footage is that, where they're talking about, no, let this woman be, don't take this woman because she's going to be a sex slave. Bulk of those accounts are from Hamas's own footage. The rest of the accounts are from some CCTV cameras and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely.
That is irrefutable evidence. And yet, if somebody questions this evidence, number one, and now not even going after the testimony of the victims of these attacks, I'm just going at the visual evidence, which is so stark. And then, of course, is the point which you raised, that women victims, how can you not take them seriously when they've gone through this trauma? But look, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by these third-rate organizations like UN Women. Most of these are, these are jobs given to women who have never really fought for women's rights. They've done a lot of virtue signaling. They've done, a lot of grandstanding. But when it comes to actually talking about or pushing for or plugging women's rights or protecting them, these people have been found wanting. Tell me something, Shivani. You know, these events happened on October 7th. People like us who don't have access to, we just have access to public domain information. We were horrified by what we were watching.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We woke up to shock of what was happening in Israel. It takes the UN women over, what, 6 weeks or 8 weeks?
Yeah, 6 to 7
Right.
weeks.
For them to come out with that goddamn statement, they should be ashamed of themselves. That entire body should be simply disbanded and thrown into the rubbish bin.
No, but
They
Sushant,
don't-
that's my question. You look at UNRWA, which works in Gaza.
Yeah,
You look at a
exactly.
lot of international bodies and agencies that work inside Gaza. They're suffering a crisis of credibility. For so
Shivani-
long, tunnels of Hamas, misuse of resources into Gaza, and now even this, the fact that they don't shine a light on hostages, they keep talking about a ceasefire. The UN woman doesn't speak
hostages?
for 2 months.
Shivani, there were UN RWA officials who were actually keeping hostages. And these are people, I feel so strongly about it because even I pay, you pay, all of us pay for running this goddamn United Nations. I think it needs to be scrapped for the kind of people they have taken in. One. Secondly, there is a bigger problem that the people you have brought into these organizations are people of a certain ideological persuasion, people, who have, who are ideologically corrupt people. These are people who believe in political correctness. These are people who have this very warped sense of equivalence
And justice,
even when they are seeing what is happening.
No,
And
anybody who finds
people
it difficult.
talk down to you and me, and they will pontificate and sermonize to us. And yet, when it comes to taking a stand against the
Hamas,
worst kind of atrocities, you find them wanting.
No, anybody who has a problem with not condemning
organizations
Hamas without any ifs and buts has a problem condemning Hamas atrocities and sexual crimes without any ifs and buts. For example, a prominent US politician went on a news channel and said, yes, I condemn Hamas rape, but we have to be balanced in our criticism that comes the way of the Palestinians. It's mind-boggling. You can say that. I want to go across to Major Faye one more time. The US Department has said that one of the reasons the extension of the ceasefire couldn't happen, those talks failed, is because Hamas is willfully not releasing more women in their custody. What can you tell us more about this? How many more women are in custody of the Hamas, and why do you think they're refusing to release them?
The operational pause broke down because Hamas continued to fire rockets and broke the operational pause on Friday morning by firing rockets at Israeli civilians. There are still 137 Israeli hostages being held in Gaza. I'm not going to go into the details of how many of them are men, women, or children, but we are still doing and upholding our efforts to, again, maintain the 3 central missions that we are focusing on right now, which is to bring back these hostages, to completely dismantle and destroy Hamas's capabilities, and to ensure security and safety on our borders.
All right, I leave it at that. I do thank Major Faye Goldstein and Sushant Sareen for joining us. A big question mark really on these international bodies when it comes to standing up for what is right. I have to move across to some breaking updates now coming in, and this is related to politics in India. Revanth Reddy is the next Telangana Chief Minister. The Congress has finally made the declaration. The final decision by the High Command has been taken, and the swearing in is now likely on December 7. Let's listen in to the first reactions.
Unanimously entrusted the decision of CLP to the Honorable Congress President. Today noon, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar and Manikrao Dakhareji has given detailed report on their observation about the CLP meeting. After considering this report and with the discussion with the senior leadership, Honorable Congress President decided to go with Revant Reddy, our PCC president, as the new CLP of Telangana Legislative Party. Revant Reddy is working as the PCC president, a dynamic leader who campaigned in this election extensively with the other senior leaders, like Uttam Bhattiji and all other senior leaders.
Let's go across to my colleague Swastika also joining us. Swastika, Revant Reddy, the next Chief Minister, when you would say very deserving, he has of course made a very telling difference in the Telangana campaign for the Congress party. But are there any other issues that the Congress still has to work out?
Well, definitely, because if you look at Congress, it is very rare for them to pick somebody out of turn. Remember, Revant Reddy joined the Congress only in 2017, and for him to be picked as the PCC and then now the Chief Minister is only because of his mass popularity and also the fact that he is the man who is now face of Congress's victory in Telangana. That's why his accession to the throne of Telangana's CM chair is a big thing. But this has not gone down well with his other leaders, in fact, senior leaders in the likes of Uttam Kumar Reddy, Bhatti Vikramarka, Sridhar Babu, who were in Delhi trying to convince the High Command against their decision. But having said that, the High Command now will have to look at different arithmetic caste combinations in place to assuage the concerns of the senior leaders and accommodate them in, let's say, portfolio-heavy role for the state of Telangana. But for now, the man of the moment is, of course, Revant Reddy, who is the next Chief Minister of Telangana.
All right. On that note, big thanks to Swastika Das for bringing us those updates, and a big thanks for the viewers for tuning in on Plain Speak. Time for me to take your leave. My colleague Rahul Shivshankar is joining you with the hard facts.
Viewers, it's just not ending. It's just not ending. They just cannot reconcile. The BJP's fantastic showing in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, its growth in both Telangana and Mizoram has triggered a sore Congress and so-called liberal pretenders in its ecosystem to heap scorn on the unsuspecting voter. That's right, viewers. DMK MP Senthil Kumar stood up in Parliament and pejoratively said, and I quote, BJP can only win in Hindi-speaking heartland states, what we generally call Gaumutra states, unquote. Viewers, you only had to hear it to believe it. Of course, the remark made in a live session of the House has been expunged, we are told, so we can't play it out. But viewers, he's not the only one. A close Rahul Gandhi aide and prominent Congress party member originally lit the spark on the day the results were announced by dog whistling against North Indian voters. His tweet implied that southern voters were more sophisticated than their allegedly boorish northern counterparts. As if on cue, the ecosystem chimed in. Here's a sample. I know, and I quote, I know correlation isn't causality, but the states that have lower literacy, lower female literacy, lower female labor force participation, higher use of Hindi, higher population, higher fertility, and lower tolerance of meat eating seem to prefer voting for BJP, unquote. This bilge that masquerades as analysis oozed out of an author and journalist with a magazine with a known anti-Modi slant. Another cantankerous inverted pyramid of journalistic piffle who is accused of accepting Chinese patronage was not far behind in expressing his contempt for, quote, cowbelts, Hindutva drunk voters, unquote. These are, of course, just two examples among hundreds of obnoxious labels, and let me just put those labels out for you, viewers, that are heaped on North Indians over the last 2 days. Viewers, you can see all those remarks as they come up on your screens. Let me play out now a sample of some of these utterances, these odious utterances. Listen it. Okay. Let's move on, viewers. But let me read you some of these tweets. The South after Congress wins. Telangana, look at what Karti Chidambaram said a few days back. Paranjoy Guha Thakurta tweeted, victory for Hindutva and its coalition partner, big business, soft Hindutva of Congress fails miserably, North-South divide widens. North-South divide widens. Congress unable to counter BJP's control on institutions and media. Blame everybody, not the Congress. Viewers, another user on social media said, India's split is now complete. It's progressive South and communal North. I don't care. I don't know for how long the South will pay for and carry the North's bigotry. Another tweeted, hence proves South is aware and North is still lagging far behind. Viewers, all of this has been said. Sadly, this isn't the first time that Hindi belt voters have been villainized for voting the BJP. Yes, viewers, this is not the first time. Randeep Singh Surjewala, who is of course at one time in the most important social media and in fact communication cell of the Congress party, went ahead and said even more. This trusted Gandhi acolyte Randeep Singh Surjewala broke a cardinal rule of democratic politics. Never attack the voter. Randeep Singh Surjewala, bless him, did just this when he had a go at BJP workers for backing the Modi-led NDA over the last 9 years. And let me quote him, the people of BJP and Jan Nayak Janata Party, he said dismissively, are quote, Rakshasis. And those who voted for the party and support them are Rakshasis too, unquote. Rakshasis, viewers, in Hindu mythology, even a child knows, are cast as deplorable creatures unwilling to play by the rules of ethical and civilized behavior. The Prime Minister, who had warned opposition leaders not to vent their ire and frustration after the loss today, slammed their arrogance and warned the voter against attempts to divide them. And that's the quote, viewers, on air. May they be happy with their arrogance, lies, pessimism and ignorance. Beware of their divisive agenda. An old habit of 70 years can't go away so easily. Such is the wisdom of the people that they have to be prepared for many more meltdowns ahead, unquote. But can all these jibes be made against NDA's voters? A shade under 45% of all eligible 650 million voters re-elected Narendra Modi and the BJP in 2019. They were all Indians, viewers. They came from all parts, all corners of this country. We are all Indians first. These voters included record numbers of marginalized tribals, Mahadalits, and the most indigent amongst us. What's more, they weren't confined to just the Hindi heartland. The BJP has 8 MLAs in Telangana. Let me give you the hard facts, viewers. And when you look at these hard facts, you will see how idiotic some of these comments about North-South are. The BJP has 8 MLAs in Telangana, almost as many votes in Andhra as the Congress, viewers. 25 MPs in Karnataka and scores of MLAs too. It has 4 MLAs in Tamil Nadu and similar vote shares as the Congress. In fact, there's hardly anything to choose between them. In Puducherry, it has built a base with almost 14% of the vote and it is in government. It is in government, viewers. Puducherry is not for the kind attention of the DMK, of some Congress ecosystem members and Congress leaders in the north. Puducherry is in the south. Maybe they need to go